Hi, thank you so much for clicking on my channel. I'm so excited to share this look with you guys. These are my Real Talk Tuesday videos that I post on Tuesdays, and being that next Tuesday is 4th of July, I wanted to do a 4th of July inspired makeup look. Please enjoy. And don't forget to give me your thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks again. Hello, good morning. Welcome to my channel. Today we are gonna do our Real Talk Tuesday. We're gonna do a 4th of July inspired makeup tutorial. So we're gonna use a little blue, a little glitter. We're gonna go festive. Now I realize 4th of July is kind of laid back and most of us probably don't wear a lot of makeup on 4th of July. Either way, we are gonna use the holiday to have some fun, use some more blues, do a full on get ready with me and start celebrating the 4th of July. Cheers! Full disclosure, guys, I had so many technical difficulties with this video and I am so sorry. It's a mess. So some of it will be voiceover, some of it won't. I'm so sorry. Bear with me. I will get better at this. I promise. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start by prepping my eyelids for some shadows. I'm using my Tarte Shape Tape in medium, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that all over my lid. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and pat it in with my Real Techniques blender. I hope you all are having a wonderful summer. It just got started, and my one goal was to make it to the beach this summer because I feel like I always skip the beach as much as I want to go every summer. And guess what, guys? I did it last weekend, and I'm so excited. So it is good to set goals. So anyway, we're just patting this in, making sure it is prepping our eyelids. Using a few palettes, I'm going to start off with my Modern Renaissance from Anastasia, and I'm going to go ahead and do the transition because this has a lot of really pretty warm tones, as you can tell. I know most of you have seen this a million times before. One trick that I truly believe in is making sure to add a translucent powder to your eyelids after you've prepped them. I feel like this helps the eyeshadows blend so much better. So I'm just going in here with my Mineral Veil from MAC, and I'm powdering my entire lid. Basically all the areas where potentially I'm going to be having to blend eyeshadow. I feel like this makes a world of difference and your eyeshadows blend out so much better, so much smoother, and it just makes your life so much easier in the process of applying your eyeshadows. So I highly recommend not skipping this step. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Morphe R37 brush. Here that is. It has a little point on there. To be honest, this wouldn't be the normal one I use for a transition shade. I just can't find my favorite original transition shade brush. And start off with Burnt Orange. I love that warm transition. I think for some of y'all out there, this might be too dark of a transition shade to start with, but because I am my lovely mocha colored self, this transition shade I feel works really well. Yes, you can start lighter, and there's lots of people that want to start almost at their skin tone for a transition shade, which is fine and lovely, and honestly it might be smart to do it that way, but I don't have the patience. I can't do the whole like 10 transition shade things. I don't. I do about 2 usually, and that is it. 2 transition shades. That gets me where I need to be for the most part. Believe me, there are days when I'm like, I probably should have worked on that a little more, but that's okay. All right, so I kind of talked you through this one. When I go to the other side of my face, instead of boring you guys with chit chat, I'm just gonna speed the other side up. So I'm just gonna be that fair warning right now. I will talk you through one side, let you kind of see it in real time, and then I will speed this baby up. So as you can tell, I really like to blend it as much as possible from the beginning. And this does take time to get that perfect blend. Be patient with yourselves. Don't try to be an expert blender in 30 seconds. It doesn't work that way. Okay guys, so the transition shade is on. Again, I know this is a dark transition. That's just the way I'm gonna do it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with, I think I'm gonna do a dark brown underneath, and then I'm gonna do a little sparkle. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my Morphe B84 so that way I can pat this darker brown in this area here. It's a flatter brush, as you can see. It's, yeah, okay. It's a flat brush. We'll leave it at that. And all I did was really get that soaked on one end of the brush. The other one is pretty much clear. You don't need to do both ends of the brush. Ooh, this is really chocolatey brown. Okay, I really do like it though. This is not blended as it should be. I'm gonna get back to that, so don't you worry. Do you see all this fallout? This is why I do my eyes first, because I can't even imagine how I'm getting that much fallout and trying to use the powder method and it's dark brown. I'm sorry, I just, no, that would be a lot of powder. So we will clean this up at the end. So that's blended pretty well. I'll bring you in. You guys can really see the dark circles. Look, the brown fallout really did not help this dark circle situation. So it's not all me. Okay, so I think I like it. I might brighten it up again because I feel like I put more brown over here. And I saw when I was doing it, but it was a mistake and it had already been done. That's what happened. I went too low. So yes, I took back into burnt orange and tried to do this. So that way it's more orangey than brown. I might regret this in a second here, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna try to actually stay above the brown like I did on the other eye. And then I'm just gonna take my finger, because fingers as tools are the best thing ever. They let you kind of clean up any edges, and then you go back in with your brush, of course. Okay. All right, I feel like that looks better. All right, so that is done. So now to have a little bit of fun and put on a little bit of glitter. So I'm gonna go in with my Stila, Magnificent Metals glitter. It is still in its package. I've had this for months and I haven't actually used it. I was really, really super excited to get it, and then it was on back order, and then I didn't get my hands on it. And when I finally did, I think I was still happy to have it. I just wasn't as excited because I had to wait so long. So this one is in Smoky Storm. I'm gonna go ahead and take it on a brush. I've seen many people use this and put it on, and it's really, really intense. And I don't think I want it that intense. I just want a little glitter. And I really don't want it to get all over my face. I'm gonna try really hard because you guys know glitter is just, all right. So this is the Morphe M204. Again, it's kind of a flatter brush, and I'm gonna open this baby up. And there she is. And I'm gonna start off really, really light. So I'm just gonna get on the very tips. And again, I tried to use only one side because I'm gonna try to use the other one to get them more spread out. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go with the side that doesn't have them and kind of see if I can get them spread out a little. And I'm gonna try to focus them on the center of my lid. Okay guys, that is done. That is enough glitter. All right, so I'm gonna take a moment and go get a wipe to clean up this disaster under my eyes. I'll be right back. I just put one finger in there. There's not obviously any particular right or wrong way. And I try not to go too intense because I did moisturize really well. And at this point, the moisturizer really should have kind of already started sinking into my face, in theory. Look at that grossness. Could you imagine just plopping more makeup on top of that? I'm sorry, just no, just no. That's all I gotta say about that. Like, and it goes like way down. Like I still had some. Like, can you imagine just plopping makeup on top of that? That's just not right. Okay. Okay guys, now I'm going to go into my Morphe 35U palette so I can actually use the blues. I'll be honest, I never use this palette. I don't really know why I bought it, but apparently one day I was feeling spunky and I picked it up. So anyway, it is finally going to get some use. We are going to use the blues. But first I'm going to prep underneath my waterline, so underneath those bottom lashes, because I'm going to use eyeshadow there. So I'm going to prep it just like I did my lid. First the concealer, and then you'll see me powder, and that'll be that. Okay guys, so now it's time to go in with the blues. I'm actually using two different blues. I went ahead and put them underneath my lash line, and then I did add some to the inner corner on top to just make that pop of color transition into the rest of my lid, so it didn't look so weird just on the bottom. However, the camera cut this off completely and I don't have it on video for you guys, so I'm really sorry. Alright, so I didn't really notice me having a lot of fallout of the blue, but just in case, I'm gonna take my little wipe again and just wipe around my eyes. Especially for someone with dark circles, you don't need any browns or blues going under your eyes where you don't intend them to be. Cool. And I did get a little blue off, so that was a good call. Go in with medium from the Tarte Shape Tape because I feel like I need coverage today. I don't just need to brighten. And so I'm gonna use this as a corrector because it's a little dark. All right, so that is corrected a little bit. I mean, it does look better. I'm gonna just have to kind of pack on the concealer today. That's what's gonna happen. To show you guys one of my favorite foundation tricks, I guess you could call it. It is such a darker foundation. I actually kind of like how it corrects my under eye. So I'm gonna do that first. This is another thing that I feel like no one really talks about, and it is such a great foundation for someone that wants it to stay all day, that doesn't mind a heavier coverage. It really is amazing. It will stay on your face. It is the Lock It Foundation by Kat Von D. And I feel like, yeah, mine's kind of a mess. It doesn't get any love. It just doesn't get love. It is very, very thick, and it does oxidize to kind of an orangey tone. So you really do have to kind of have a warm tone, although she has such a wide range of colors. And obviously I only pick up the warm tones because I am warm toned. This color is 57. I believe it is about one shade too dark for me. But then the other one is like a little bit too light for me. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this here and kind of do a correction with it. I totally forgot I wanted to do that today. So I'm excited. I remembered before I messed it up. And then what I do is I'm just gonna plop this on like such. It does dry kind of fast, so I might just shut up and let you guys watch this process. See, I didn't use a ton. In fact, I probably used more than I need to. And then guess what I'm doing here? I'm adding sunscreen to this process. Ah, that was way too much sunscreen. I'm just gonna put that on my neck and deal with that later. Okay, so this is how I make that foundation work for me. So yes, I purposely get it too dark because I know I'm gonna mix it in with sunscreen. So this is what I do a lot during summertime because I have to get more sunscreen on my face anyway. And this is a really easy way that I kind of can run out the door. I've mentioned this before. I tend to do my makeup in the car a lot. And because I have a really long commute to work a lot of the time, like 2 hours-ish, because LA traffic sucks. And so even if I'm only going like 40 miles, sometimes it'll take me 2 hours to get there. So what I do is I just pack my makeup the night before, and I try to take as little with me as possible because I don't want to carry all this makeup with me all day. So anyway, I do my sunscreen, I take this Kat Von D, and that way I can moisturize, put my sunscreen on, and put the Kat Von D on, and two things are gonna happen. It's gonna stay all day. Like, it is not going to move. It is gonna give me amazing coverage until I get home at 7 p.m. that night. All right, so now that I got that all patted in, I'm gonna go ahead and take my Laura Mercier 2.5 High Coverage Concealer, and I'm just gonna pat that in under my eyes to brighten this all up and add dimension to my face. So I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna bring it all the way out and down a little. Okay. So the one thing I am trying to do really hard is to make sure I'm using just a patting motion. The patting motion will make that concealer really sink into the skin and stay where you want it to stay without smearing all over the face, because again, the idea of this step is just to brighten that under eye area. I already concealed. In fact, I concealed twice and corrected. So I just want to brighten underneath my eyes. Now I'm going to go ahead and contour. I'm using my LA Girl concealer in a dark bronze color, and I'm doing it right underneath my cheekbones and on my forehead, and I'm going to go ahead and do my nose as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my beauty sponge, my Real Techniques sponge, and just blend that out. The reason I love this sponge is, if you can tell, it has kind of sharper edges on one side, which really does help that blending in precise areas. So I'm going to go ahead and do this until I feel like it is blended enough and yet still giving me a nice contour line. So yeah, that's what we're doing. My tip to contouring, by the way, is that you always want to make sure you're blending upward. So when you're contouring your cheekbones, you want to blend up because you don't want a 5 o'clock shadow look. That is not sexy. When you're contouring your forehead, you want to blend into your hairline because the idea is you want the center of your forehead to still stay light. And of course, when you're contouring your nose, you actually just want to go as straight as possible wherever you drew those lines. And if you're trying to thin out your nose, you want to go ahead and make those lines as close together as possible. But then you risk the chance of messing that up like I did, and they got way too close. So I went ahead and went back in with my Laura Mercier concealer, and I just added some brightness back in, and now I'm going to blend it all together. I know this may seem like I'm defeating the purpose of some of that contouring, but I promise you that I did not. It worked out just fine. Okay guys, so now I'm going to go ahead and add some translucent powder. I'm using my Mineral Veil from MAC with my Real Techniques blending brush. And so, powder brush. So I'm actually just using a really, really light hand. I barely touch the brush to my face. I try to keep it super light because I do have drier skin. And I don't always powder, but when I use the sunscreen and foundation method, I do because it is so moisturizing that if I don't, it'll stay wet for a very long time. So I'm moving on to eyebrows. I am using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow and Dark Brown. And I'm going to go ahead and do these really quick. I'm actually going to probably skip a lot of this because it's super boring to watch someone do their eyebrows. And to be honest, eyebrows are not my favorite part of makeup. So we're just going to skip it. Yeah? Sound good? All right. You saw enough. So for the top, I'm going to use my Trish McEvoy Arabian Nights gel eyeliner. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just do the inner part. No one likes to see this, so I'm going to put this quickly, or, you know, speed it up. And I'm also going to do it on my bottom lash line. By the way, yes, this is not a black. It's like just a very dark, deep blue. So I figured that'd be fitting for the occasion since we're going with blues to celebrate the 4th of July. So that is in there. And I think I'm gonna actually do a wing on top. For my wing liner, I'm gonna go ahead and use something that no one ever talks about. It's the e.l.f. Felt Tip Pen Liquid Liner. I feel like this thing is really great. For anyone having trouble with liquid liner, felt tip pens are pretty fantastic. They are gonna leave a thicker line, but if you're so used to pencil liner, you're so used to thick lines anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my wing with this. Again, if you're having trouble with a wing, this makes it a lot easier as well. So here I go. My other trick for doing a nice wing, if you have been having trouble, is to make sure to keep your eye open. With certain eye shapes, doing a wing liner is super difficult. But if your eyes are open, you can kind of just follow the line of your eye towards your eyebrow shape and make sure it's the most flattering wing on you, because depending on your eye shape, you may be able to pull off a really cool wing, or you may have to stick with a little baby wing. And also depending on how comfortable you are making that wing. So of course, now I'm going to go ahead and move on to mascara. I'm just using my L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara. I'm going to do a light layer. What you'll see me do is actually really wiggle it onto my lashes. It does make them look a little bit thicker, but I am going to add false lashes. I put on my false lashes off camera, but I will give you my 2 biggest tips. 1, use a good glue. My favorite is the Duo. It works well. My other big tip is wait the 30 seconds. Don't put them on too early. Don't get anxious, because if you do, they're going to smear all over the place, or there's a chance they will, and once that glue's everywhere, it's a disaster. If you want a video of how to put lashes on, let me know. I can film that.
So now I looked at my face and I feel like I need more contour. So I'm gonna put more contour on.
Okay, so this might seem a little weird, but remember we already put powder on, so we don't want to go in there with liquid again. But I did want to intensify this.
And I am using the Bahama Mama, the Balm Contour, or Bronzer, excuse me, for this contour.
I go ahead and take my little fluff brush. I don't actually, it's Kestrel.
So this brush was one of the many makeup gifts I have gotten from my sister. Being that I'm obsessed with makeup and do this a lot, I get a lot of makeup gifts because that's just what people give me. So I don't let anything go to waste. And this brush is actually one of my favorites. It's super soft. All right, using my beauty blender, I'm gonna blend, 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 make sure that's going in and that it doesn't look crazy. All right, again, key to makeup is what I'm getting at is clearly blending. You have to blend it. Moving on to blush, I'm using my Lancome Shimmer Mocha Havana, and I use blush very lightly. I'm not a big blush fan, so I'm putting just a little toward the back end of my cheekbones and bringing it forward very, very lightly.
I'm gonna go back in with my beauty blender, and on it I'm gonna spray my Kiehl's toner. It's their Ultra Facial Toner. Because again, if you have oily skin, this may be a big, big no-no. Because I have such dry skin, I feel like this really helps that powder settle. All right, so I'm gonna add one more coat of or a coat of mascara to the falsies. Make them all stick together. When I say all, I'm talking about my real lashes and the falsies. And then I always go above here to make sure that none of like the eyeshadow fell onto them or anything weird like that. So that's what I do. So this is definitely a step that you can skip. It's very much a personal preference of how intense you want those lashes once they're on. I just usually do it. So there's that. That is it. But one last major thing, since we are doing 4th of July in honor of 4th of July, I'm gonna go ahead and do some nice red lipstick. If it looks ridiculous because of the blue eyeliner, I'll probably take it off, but let's give it a shot. So I'm actually going with one of my favorite red liquid lips. These have been around since the beginning of Dawn, before liquid lips were like a thing. It's the Sephora ones, and this is in the shade 01. And I don't see the name of the color, but it's just red. It's a very bright red. So I'm gonna put this on my lips. So this is, oh, I almost forgot. Let's put some highlighter on because it wouldn't be a holiday makeup without highlighter, right? I'm gonna go ahead and use my Becca Champagne Pop today. That's the one I grabbed. So let's do this. I'm using this old school Shany 28. I think this is one of the first makeup brushes I got like years ago when I was first deciding I wanted to do makeup and try to do others people's makeup, and I was trying to put together a kit that had everything I would need without spending a whole ton. And still, some of my Shany brushes honestly work really well, and I I'm not hating on them. They're not expensive, but they've stayed together. They've been washed on the regular, and they do their job. So just gonna put that out there. Okay, I'm gonna do a little nose highlight. Okay, do that. Okay, so now that I'm glowing, I'm just gonna do a little bow with the eyebrows, very little. Okay, so this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me for this 4th of July makeup tutorial. I hope you all have a great time celebrating. Don't get too crazy out there, and we will see you on the following Tuesday for the next video. Thank you so much.